Is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back. Jeff Duncan, Claude Verdun, David Corbier at the iHeart Studios in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana. Dunc and Holder on Monday, March 26th. And we are joined now by our cohort in crime, Larry Holder, who's probably sitting out by a pool somewhere with one of those drinks with an umbrella in it. Probably got a Hawaiian shirt on, I'm guessing, acting like he's actually working, but we all know better. What's going on, Sir Lawrence? How you doing down there, buddy?
I am watching the Monday night annual owners meeting party being set up. Mm-hmm. So I'm close to potentially not working, but yeah, NFL owners meetings are in effect. Of course, we are going to be able to talk with Sean Payton tomorrow, but today, later on this afternoon, actually, we are going to be able to chat with Gayle Benson, which should be an interesting conversation. First time she's going to be at these owners' meetings as the owner of the Saints, and first time I know she's going to be talking publicly. So, it should be an interesting day here in Orlando.
Yeah, Larry, so for people that aren't familiar, I mean, this is the big meeting. You always hear these terms, NFL owners meetings. There's usually one later on in the spring, and there's one in the fall, sometimes one in the summer, but this is the big meeting. It's the one that is kind of compulsory. Everybody has to be down at this one. A lot of league rules are established here by the competition committee at this meeting every year. Do you know who is down from the Saints contingent at this meeting?
Oh, yeah. Basically, everybody you would imagine. Gail Benson's here, Dennis Lausch, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, Greg Bensel's here. And so, yeah, it's the who's who of the Saints. And, yeah, you're going to do a lot of, meetings as far as rules. And Sean Payton is his first year on that competition committee, so he kind of gets a say-so as far as potential rule changes and some suggestions. And, I was able to catch up with him last night, and he had some fresh ideas that he wants to implement. I don't know if they'll ever get implemented. One of the ideas he brought up was instead of having a play call sheet, the play caller can actually have a tablet. And we were kind of joking, you know how he has the old man Pawpaw Sean Payton glasses, and it's easier for me to read, so he doesn't have to wear the old man glasses anymore. And then I joked, I was like, poor Kevin, the cord guy, is going to have to lug that thing around, and that's just one other responsibility he's going to have.
Yeah, and I could see that being the way we go here as we get into the digital age. It makes a lot of sense instead of having these menu-like printouts of play sheets. But you had a report today that I thought was really interesting, that the Saints remain interested in Ndamukong. I think a lot of people, we get those questions all the time. I'm sure you get them. I get them on the street from people wanting to know where things stand. What's the latest on the Saints' interest in Suh?
Yeah, there's still interest, but as I put it in the story this morning, that it's basically they're in wait-and-see mode. Their strategy with this is going to be no different than it was with Jimmy Graham, no different than what it was, say, with Muhammad Wilkerson or maybe a Malcolm Butler we talked about. I think they've got a set price, and they're not going to venture too much higher. And the big story that came out, I was not around, Christopher Johnson of the Jets. I think he's the son of Woody Johnson, so he's basically part of ownership, saying that they rescinded their offer to Ndamukong, and so that kind of sent a little shockwave around here because it takes away any of his negotiating power. And I know this morning Ian Rappaport reporting that the Rams are the front runners, which that's the sense I get. So basically, that's why the Saints are just kind of waiting back and seeing to see what they can do with Suh. So if you're going to ask me, do I think Suh is going to end up with the Saints? I'd say probably not, but the interest still remains. But it's always got to be at the right price because they're not going to jump into some giant bidding war. They're probably pretty firm where they are, and I don't think they're going to up their offer to him. At least not a massive up in the offer that they have on the table probably right now.
Well, Larry, what does it say about this entire process as a whole? Knowing that it's like, Jeff and I talked about before you came on, it seems like every time it looks like this process is about to end, there's another team that gets rumored involved, taking another visit, and then something else happens. Like, obviously, this is one of, as we talked about last week with some of our guests with Albert Breer, I mean, if it's one of the biggest fish in the pond that people are willing to do or willing to go out and get, what does that say about the entire process about free agency so far this spring going into the draft in April?
Well, as far as the process, say, with, like, Sue, I think there's people that are leery, and they don't want to spend the big money on him. And so as far as the Saints process of what they're doing, they've been measured. And they're not going to change that. And look, they've gotten some nice pieces, but they're not going to change their way. And as far as with Sue, I mean, he's certainly seemingly looking to still cash in. And I don't think teams are ready to do that at this point. And there are a lot of teams that he's talked to, say the Rams and the Titans. They have significant cap space to do it. The Jets have significant cap space, but it seems like everybody's kind of playing a game of chicken with him, and but people aren't ready to dive all in. I mean, because, look, he comes with baggage. I mean, he could be a good player, but is he as good as he was, and do you want to put up with the headache and the baggage? I think that's the ultimate question that everyone's basically asking themselves here.
Speaking of talented players that can create some headaches for their teams, Odell Beckham Jr., some news coming out of the NFL owners' meetings. John Mara said, quote, "I'm tired of answering questions about Odell's behavior. He knows what is expected of him, and now it's up to him." End quote. Sounds to me like there's a possibility that they could be having a divorce up there. Do you think it's possible that the Saints would entertain any kind of trade talks with the Giants over Odell Beckham Jr.? Is that crazy talk?
I don't think it's crazy talk. And, yeah, I literally, as soon as I got here to the owners' meeting yesterday, I literally ran into John Mara as he was saying that. And so we were able to get this video up on NOLA.com of him talking about that. And so do I think it's crazy? No, I don't think it would be totally crazy and off the wall. The problem is he's going into the last year of his deal. And, I mean, would you trade for a guy for 1 year and then re-up him massive, big-time money that he's going to be looking for, and then you got to pay Michael Thomas? So, I think the Saints know they have a number one receiver, but you could tell, John Mara seems fed up just having people ask him about it nonstop, and it was a barrage of questions. But, Odell's put himself in some bad situations. I know that what's the video that surfaced that's floating around, I don't even know what it is. And then all the other headaches and injuries and just, issues off the field as far as image and that sort of thing. So, I think you could potentially see a divorce. And then I'm seeing just reports stemming from after what John Mara said about, Odell's not going to get on the field unless he has a contract extension. He doesn't want to play basically his final year without another deal in hand. And so, yeah, I think you're playing a little bit of game of chicken, and yet, is it crazy talk for the Saints? I don't think it's they probably they're exploring everything and with bigger names. But I mean, do I see that happening? I don't know. I'd be a little surprised if it did for the Saints.
So what do you want to hear from Gail Benson today? Like, what in particular do you think? Are you just going to kind of play it by ear and see where the interview goes today? I'm curious to know, like, what is she going to make statements? Do you know anything about her first meeting with the press as Saints owner?
Yeah, I think all of us here, and because she's speaking, I mean, it's the large contingent that's not normally at an owners meeting. Usually it's me and another reporter, and that's it. But now everybody came this year, so I don't know what to expect, to be quite honest with you, because I don't know. We don't know her exact involvement with everything at this rate. So I think probably learning that, and I'm curious just to see how she's handling being here as now the owner, and it's something that she's prepared for. I mean, because every year she's at these owners meetings, and then ever since 2015, when Tom announced the switch in the succession plan, Gail was coming here just as, an owner's wife, but from there on, she's been going to these meetings. I know she's in meetings right now, and she's going to be in meetings this afternoon. So she's involved. Look, she's an owner, and I'm just curious to see just how hands-on she might be because, look, there's a lot of the assumption out there that, Gayle's the figurehead, and you have Dennis Lauscha and Mickey Loomis and, all the brass that have been there for years and years to help this thing grow. They're going to play a heavy role. But I'm just curious just to see almost just kind of how assertive she is with some of this stuff. I'm curious to see because I've never talked to her. We've never talked to her about the actual ownership of this whole thing.
And you had a report yesterday, Larry, that in his address on welcoming the owners on Sunday night, I guess it is, Roger Goodell got even choked up talking about Tom Benson. What were you able to gather about that address that Roger Goodell had with the NFL ownership about Tom Benson? Yeah,
he stood up, he do the usual address because on the first night, every Sunday night of these spring owners meetings, there's a big dinner and reception afterwards, and everybody goes. And so, Roger stands up and they start talking some things. And then, early on while he was up there, they showed a picture of Tom Benson, and he was just trying to say, the value to the league, and he was just, the term I was told is he was getting choked up and had trouble going on because he was, talking about the passing of Tom Benson. And look, he saw it firsthand, going to the funeral and going to the St. Louis Cathedral and doing the second line and all that stuff. I think maybe him being a part of that maybe moved him a little more. So, and look, we know that they've had some checkered past. I mean, the bounty scandal, first and foremost, but it seemingly, at least on the ownership, the top of the mountain, that they were able to get past that. And, but no, Roger Goodell, was giving a moving speech and had trouble getting through it. And so, I think it was well received by the Saints organization.
That's our Larry Holder of Dunc Holder fame. Larry, are you going to be able to check in with us tomorrow night, or are you going to be tied up with all the Sean Payton stuff in the morning?
I'll definitely be able to check in because Sean Payton will be speaking at 6:15 a.m. Central.
Whoa.
And we will have the live updates on NOLA.com and he speaks for an hour. So I'll be typing away while most of you guys are sleeping. So I will certainly be able to jump on the show tomorrow. So all good.
All right, well, take it easy now tonight at that reception. I know that thing usually can get a little crazy, and you got early morning tomorrow. So
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it.
Lay off the umbrella drinks.
Get hammered, Larry.
Oh, well, if you ask the Saints, they're looking around for Dixie Light, so maybe they'll have those here.
All right. Thanks, Sir Lawrence. We appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Yep,
that's Larry Holder of Dunc Holder fame, calling in from Orlando at the NFL owners meetings. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll discuss this Odell Beckham Jr. conundrum and whether the Saints should throw their hat in the ring and bring in OBJ back home to New Orleans. You're listening to Dunc Holder, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us.